more fun. So clap your hands, make a little noise.
Onions. Anyway, your act, Yamaki. How am I supposed to live up to onions? Hello. Yeah, you're very young. Hello. Oh, thank you. I'm very well, thank you. Very polite. Yeah, thanks. You get people saying fuck up whenever. I can deal with that. Not how are you. I'm very well, thank you. How are you, sir?
Excellent.
Oh, brilliant. It's going to be a great show, guys. Hey, thank you for half-heartedly applauding. So, yes, I'm Yamaki. Thank you so much for being here on a Sunday. I think you'd have been here on a Monday as well, sir, because you fuck the man, right? I'm with you. Sorry, I should start the show. So, my name is Yamaki. I live in Japan. Or as my friends from Queensland call it, China. Just a joke. But I told it at a gig once, and there's some people from Queensland like around here. And one person yelled out, yellow and weird. Yeah. I said, come on, that's a bit racist. And they said, no, I mean your teeth. I wish they were racist. But as you can tell from my teeth, I'm British. But a lot of people think I'm Australian, strangely, back in Tokyo when they meet me. And I think, I don't know why that is. And I asked a lady once, so why do you think I'm Australian and not British? And genuinely, she said, oh, it's because you seem quite happy. Told her to fuck off. She said, oh, you are British. So yes, British, but last name Yamaki. It's a Japanese name. It's my wife's last name. My wife is Japanese. When we got married, I took my wife's last name, so now she doesn't have one. Cheers. No refunds. Stealing from Asian cultures, told you I was British. Oh, you guys are lovely. It's kind of weird for some people to see this and hear Yamaki, right? It's kind of like if you saw someone eating British food and then heard, right? But it's even weirder for people in Japan to hear Yamaki and then see this appear. You know, Jesus if he was just a street magician. Was this your leprous fingers? Oh, no, so, thank you for laughing at that. It'll come back. And then there's other stuff in the show, and then there's a conclusion, and then we all have fun and leave. So it's weird for Japanese people to see this, and then Jesus and leprous finger. And I went, oh, that was it, thank you. For just looking at me and giving me hope. I went back for a massage back in Tokyo. I had to because I'm in my 40s. And I'd hurt my shoulder doing a particularly difficult jigsaw. And I went into the massage place, up to the front desk, and said, Yoyakishita Yamaki desu, which means I've made an appointment under the name Yamaki. And the guy was like writing something, so all he heard was a Japanese last name and a Japanese language, right? So he was not expecting Hagrid's nephew. Okay? And I could tell he wasn't expecting me, because he was supposed to say, Shōshō machi kudasai, which means please wait a moment. But he went, Shō. And then he slowly backed away until he disappeared behind a curtain. And I'm left standing there like, what? And then from behind said curtain, I hear the sound of several muffled Japanese voices. So no doubt all the massage people had gathered to discuss the situation. And then I hear, which is a rhyme you do when doing rock, paper, scissors. And And then I hear one guy go, "Ah, more!" Which in this context means, "Oh, for fuck's sake." And then from behind the curtain, out shuffles my massage guy. Guy must have been in his 80s or something. He was like down like this, like, you know, hunched over like he'd spent his life critiquing shoelaces or something. And shaking, like, I don't mean like trembling or quivering, I mean shaking like his parents were earthquakes. And he said to me, "Kochire dozo," which in English is "this way, please." And I followed him, and then he sat in a chair vibrating away, and then I sat in his lap, and that was the massage. We're off! Very good massage. I tipped him well. Technically, it was him who gave me the tip. Cheers, cheers. No refunds, cheers, thank you. So yeah, as you can tell, I speak Japanese in my own way. And some people ask me, you know, what's it like speaking Japanese? And put it this way, you know trains. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, trains are great, aren't they, right? Your doors open, you get on, doors close, and then when the doors open again, you're elsewhere. Right? So I was on one of these during the like doors closed phase of the operation, and there were two Japanese high school girls, and they were speaking very loudly about how high a high-heeled shoe has to be before it becomes a high-heeled shoe. And I thought, I'm glad I spent 20 years learning Japanese. It's all been building to this moment. Where will the conversation go? And because people said to me, they said, "Oh, if you learn Japanese as an English speaker, it'll open your mind to a whole new world, and blow your mind, and introduce you to a new way of thinking." And that turned out to be like 0.3% true. The other 99.7% of the time, Japanese people talk about the same trivial shite we do in English. It's just that it sounds more profound in Japanese, right? Like a haiku or something, you know? Kuisugite, onaka ippai. Mune yakeda. Which means, I ate too much and now I've got heartburn. I need 20 years of my life for that, you know? And it's a dangerous language, very dangerous. I went back to the UK recently, to London, and Japanese kept coming out instead of English. And I was on a bus, and you know buses, right? Yeah, doors open, doors close. Then when the doors open again, you're elsewhere. They're a lot like trains, except you get to see up close how much the driver hates their life. They're very good. I highly recommend them. Especially if you've got somewhere to go. And I was on one of these during the doors open phase of the operation. And an old lady gets on. And the bus driver didn't give a shit about this fact. He pulled away before she could sit down. And bless this lady, she was not ready for that level of physics, right? She just fell at my feet, like bam, like this. And I went to say, "Are you okay?" in Japanese, which is "Daijoubu desu ka?" But I stopped myself part way and just went, "Die!" Anyway, she died. Probably the best. I was at the airport as well, Heathrow Airport. I'd just arrived. I'd just been on a plane, and you know, planes. I don't like buses and trains, but they take the elsewhere concept to a whole new level, right? So I'd just been on one of them, and I was at the, what are they called, the luggage carousel, you know, where you get your baggage from. And I'd been there for about 4 years, right? My wife had moved on, and my suitcase finally came round, and I yanked it off a bit too aggressively. It's like this. And it struck a lady in the stomach. It just took a poof like this, just back. And I said sorry in Japanese, which is the worst thing I could have done, because I, a man, have just struck a woman. And I shit you not, the Japanese for sorry is go men. Anyway, she died. So yeah, it's much safer for me to live in Japan, I feel, where I'm not an English teacher. Some people go to Japan to be English teachers. I'm not one of those. And I say that with some amount of disdain because English teachers in Japan, they don't have a very good reputation, right? And I think it's because anyone can be an English teacher. All you need is a degree. And it doesn't need to be a degree in English, it could be a degree in anything. It could be a degree in gender studies. And the Japanese recruitment agent would look at that and go, wow, gender studies, perfect. Because English has masculine and feminine forms, right? And you're like, well, no, actually, no, English doesn't really have masculine and feminine forms. And they're like, ha ha ha, you and your Western politics. You're on board. And, it's no offense to English teachers. I'm sure there's some very good ones out there. I've never met them, but, I'm sure they're out there. But basically, they just let any old idiot become an English teacher. So I was an English teacher. I taught primary school kids just to the east of Tokyo, and they were lovely. Primary school, lovely kids. Surprisingly easy to defeat at karate. The movies from the 1980s lied. It's just a joke. But someone got offended once by that joke. And it wasn't the idea of me like axe kicking a child to the face or anything. It was my pronunciation of the word karate. You live in Japan, you should pronounce it the Japanese way, which is karate. Right? And that sounds pretty cool, to be honest. Karate. Yeah. To me, karate, that conjures up the image of a brave warrior practicing kata on a luscious green mountain as the sun rises behind them. Whereas karate conjures up the image of some nutter in a pub. On my pint, mate, I'm gonna do a jump kick. It's fine, I've seen Cobra Kai on Netflix. Whereas, you've met that guy, right? Whereas, another word that people don't like is karaoke. But I prefer karaoke because the Japanese pronunciation is karaoke. And to me, that conjures up images of a brave warrior practicing Waterloo by ABBA. Waterloo, I was defeated, you won the war. Waterloo, my defeat, it brings shame upon my people. And now I must pay with my life. Oh, whoa, 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 Waterloo. It's my favourite joke of the song. Sort of a shame because we've got 35 minutes to go. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, no, I first did karaoke. My first experience of that was in Japan my first day as an English teacher. And a so-called welcome party, right? And because my lasting impression of singing in front of people up until that point was when I auditioned for the choir as a kid. And I was informed that I sing like a walrus being used as a trampoline. And so I didn't want to do it, but my friends said, don't worry, just sing a song by the Beatles. Japanese people love the Beatles. All right, okay. So I did Hey Jude, which was a mistake because Hey Jude is like 45 minutes long. Na, na, na. Na 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 na. After 18 minutes, your nerves are gone, right? You just want Jude to hurry the fuck up and come over, But I got through it, right? And I felt pretty good about myself, demon exercise kind of thing. And I got off the stage, and I felt really good until I spoke to my new supervisor, who was a Japanese lady called Kumiko. And I said, how do you think it went? And she said, oh, your pronunciation was very good. That's not a compliment. Because A, I'm a native English speaker. Of course my pronunciation is good. And B, 90% of Hey Jude is the word na. The other 10% is basically just Hey and Jude, right? My friend was like, no, it's a compliment. I'm like, no, it's not a compliment. Because that would be like having sex with someone And then afterwards saying, how was it for you? And then going, oh, I loved your sheets. Right? That was my first day as an English teacher. It was downhill from there, guys. Because it turns out, generally, English teaching is actually really difficult. There's a lot of teaching. The English was easy. Especially when our lessons covered the word nah. As I frequently made sure they did. But there were some weird rules as well, weird rules at my school. One time, Kumiko came up to me and she looked deeply concerned about something. I assumed it was the declining birth rate. Hazard a guess, right? Hazard a guess. And she took me to one side and she said, as you know, several Japanese teachers will come to our school tomorrow to watch our lesson. And I wanted to know, do you like your beard? Do I like my beard? Yes, we often go holidaying together, right? What am I supposed to say to that? No, I don't like my beard, but you know what they say about keeping your enemies even closer. Do I like my beard? Basically, she wanted me to shave my beard off. So Japanese people are taught that being direct is rude, right? And I get that, I do honestly get that. But sometimes being indirect is way ruder, right? Do you like your beard? It's like if someone was angry with me, I'd rather them tell me to piss off than say, do you think you being alive benefits anyone? It's so harsh, isn't it? So I had to shave my beard off, right? And the very next day, I went into school, and about 50 or so Japanese teachers came, and half of them were men, and half of those had beards. Yeah. Beards they seemed to like very much. I could tell because they had them. So I went up to Kumiko and I said, do you like being wrong? And she told me to piss off. Which was very culturally appropriate for her. Later that night we made sweet, sweet love. I complimented her sheets. She complimented my pronunciation. Not sure why I felt the need to yell out the word nah. But I'm not very good at talking dirty. I'm really not. I'm like, oh, you're so hot. You okay? One time, I got nervous and used the wrong intonation. I was like, who's your daddy? As if I was trying to remember mid-coitus. I'm much better at writing dirty. Because I used to proofread and translate Japanese adult comics. It's true. For a living, like... it wasn't like a hobby. Or a bad reaction to COVID-19 or something. When lockdowns were announced, I was like, oh, finally! A chance to translate into English the sounds of Japanese anal. Which does have sounds, by the way, genuinely. There's nupu, nupon, nupupu. Which are quite lovely, aren't they? They're lovely. Nupupu's my favourite. It sounds like a little Pokemon, doesn't it? Nupupu used lube. Pikachu fainted. But in all fairness to me, thank you so much. But in all fairness to me, I didn't know what I was getting myself in for, because in the interview, they sort of skirted around the subject. They said, by the way, just so you know, some of these comics, they cover adult themes. And I was like, oh, okay, like mortgages. Fair enough. And then on my first day, I joined a meeting. It was already underway. I'd been doing like admin things. And I opened the door. No one turned towards me. There's like a good group of like 20 Japanese people around these tables. No one turns towards me. They're all like very sternly watching TV, and on the TV is a looping video of a real woman in a bikini squatting and urinating onto a rice bowl in a convenience store. And I'm like, what does this have to do with mortgages? Is it a metaphor? I was so confused. I got my notepad that I took into that first meeting, and on the very first page, I've just written, I'm writing this so it looks like I understand. Just over and over. Yeah. Later on in the meeting, they formally discussed the best way to present a blowjob. In their advertising, not at like an awards ceremony. And they asked me, they said, the Japanese feta, in this context, should it be in English fellatio or blowjob? And I was giddy at this point. I was so like, what the fuck is going on? Then I was like, oh, is that why my job title is head translator? Jazz hands, haha, no reference, you know. And they did not laugh. In fact, they got very angry and genuinely made me promise to take blowjobs more seriously. I mean, in all fairness, if we all did, the world would be a better place. The reason why they're being so serious is because Japanese adult comics in Japan, they're a serious business, they're a big business, because both men and women read them. And in my company, there were comics assigned, comics written for men and comics written for women. And in the women's one, there was comics written by women for women. And I was assigned to those, because who could better represent women than Russell Bland? So I was assigned to those, and there were two main genres that I worked on. There was romance and boys' love. Let's do the romance ones first. Romance, romance. And the stories were usually very simple. They was focused on female pleasure. They were the straight comics, and the stories were like woman meets man. Man shows modicum of kindness, woman achieves orgasm. That was generally the theme, right? Occasionally, a comic would end on a will she come, won't she come moment that I like to call a cliffhanger. Refunds. Reaction in the back of, thank you so much. No refunds. So, but every so often you get a kind of a bit of like, you know, like out of left field kind of comic. Like one of them was set in a laboratory, and there's a guy, he's just created this concoction, and he holds it up, and there's like it's thundering and lightning. It's like a real horror story kind of and he holds it up and just drinks it, and then he collapses, clutching his throat. The next morning, he wakes up to discover that he is a horny woman. The horror! Can you imagine such a thing? And the crazy thing about this comic is the comments we got from readers. This will give you an insight into the kind of readers we got. Genuinely, one person wrote in and said, I would have enjoyed this comic a lot more if the characters had paid more attention to lab protocol. That's true. I would have orgasmed if the beagles had been labelled properly. Someone else wrote in and just went, kind of gay. And what are you supposed to say to that? Like, you're welcome. Like, someone else wrote in and said, my dad's not gonna like this. Get him a different birthday present. It was company policy to respond to these messages, and for that one I just wrote, you never know, your dad might like it, especially if he's kind of gay. But no matter how kind of unusual or straightforward these comics were, one thing they had in common was that the female orgasms were insane. Most of the women looked like they were riding the world's wettest water slide as they tried to protect their ears with their knees. And there are speech bubbles everywhere, each one containing the single Japanese character, ah. First time you read one of these, you're not sure if he's going to orgasm or violently sneeze. And the crazy thing about this ad, it's just one character, it's one Japanese character, but people could mistranslate it. Like, AH, that's fine. OH, that's fine. OH, to me is a little odd. Ooh. It's like a 1950s housewife being offered a box of chocolates. Don't mind if I do. One of the worst mistranslations was for a string of ahs to denote the woman's orgasm. I've got no idea what was going on in this translator's mind, but they decided to translate these ahs as hiya! Unless you're Kermit the Frog. That's going to be quite distracting, I feel. It'd be like receiving oral sex from a clown. So sorry, but I think you should see other circus folk. There's a lot of heavy breathing, like sound effects as well, which in Japanese, the sound effects for heavy breathing is either ha or ha, right? And in English, this is like puff, gasp, pant, something like that. What it is not is H-A. I mean, if you think that's normal during sex, you're doing it wrong, right? Time to put away the old clown costume. But despite all this onomatopoeia and wetness, we had to deal with censorship. And I don't just mean physical censorship, I mean censorship of the language. And I've got no idea why. Maybe the company were just worried a literate Victorian woman would read them. I don't know. This brought about problems in and of itself with the translation team, because in Japanese, when you censor a word, you use a circle. So the word chinko, which means cock, becomes chi, circle, ko. In English, we use asterisks. So the word cock becomes C, asterisk, CK. Very simple. One translator decided to be an innovator and kept the circle. The only problem in their otherwise brilliant and well thought through plan is that a circle in English looks like a letter O. So instead of the word cock, you had the word cock. Thank you for yelling out cock. I assume it was to join in and you're just not like feeling frisky. But the thing about the word cock is at least that made sense. This circle changed the meaning of other words entirely. I know it's shocking. Like, there's one scene in the comic where the lady has invited a guy up to her hotel room, and he is stripped off naked, and he's standing before her proudly erect. And she's supposed to use the word dick, but ends up going, oh my, what a massive dock. As if the hotel overlooked a giant harbour. And she'd been distracted by the view. Oh my, what a massive dock. Oh, sorry, you were showing me your ponies. But I mentioned this being a hotel. It was actually a laboho, they're called. And in Japan, they're kind of like fancy hotels that people use to have sex in. And the literal translation is love hotel, which to me feels kind of odd, kind of off, you know, considering what some people are doing in them with their Penises and vaginas. So I asked the translation team, I was like, what should this be? And they said some good suggestions actually. A date hotel, couples hotel, lovers hotel. Good. Someone suggested short stay hotel, bless them. Genuinely, an Australian guy suggested slut bunker. I mean, if anything needs censoring, it's slut bunker. And you'd better use asterisks instead of circles, otherwise you might end up with slot bunker. Which is way worse. There's an older lady on the team called Emma, and bless her, she suggested a hotel with all the trimmings. It's lovely, isn't it? I've never heard of a box of condoms and a bottle of lube be referred to as trimming. But what do I know? But Emma was her name, and she was in her late 60s, like semi-retired. She was half Japanese, half British, and just a lovely, wonderful lady. Every day she would send me an email to talk about her cat or the things that she'd knitted. You know, she was just a very stereotypical, sweet older lady who woke up one day and decided to translate porn. And I've got no idea why. Because she had a real problem dealing with pornographic language. She would translate sex as intimate time. A vagina would be lady parts. And a dildo would be an adult plaything. And in a way, she's not wrong, you know, but personally I find these kind of phrases don't really suit a scene involving an orgy. Or as she would call it, an intense group cuddle session. I had to leave some comments on her translations. Oh, bless her. One of them was, vroom vroom is not an appropriate noise for a vibrator. Unless it's attached to a motorcycle. Another one was, please do not express male ejaculation with the sound effect kaboom. I mean, I know the phrase to blow someone's head off exists, but it's not what it means. So in the end, I had to tell her to embrace naughty language, right? And to see if she'd kind of taken my advice on board, I sent her quite a raunchy comic to translate. And it was about a woman who had left her job to go to university. And the story was about her choosing the university to enter. The twist was that when I say there are universities, these universities were represented physically as different men. So when I say she was entering the university, it's more the other way around. I mean, talk about being fucked by the education system. Right? Don't worry, it was a happy end. She got several A's followed by H's. Hiya! So I sent this to Emma and to test her, and what she sent back was generally one of the most filthy things I've ever read in my entire life. It shocked me at a point in my career, when I was basically numb to it all, right? I'd seen it all. And to give you an example of just how numb I was, I remember reading a comic, and it featured a gigantic female demon, and she is fucking a half man, half bull, while a group of orcs watches and masturbates. And I was getting annoyed at the choice of font. Sans serif, fucking sans serif. How does that reflect the gothic nature of the beast? What Emma wrote was so wild that we risked receiving complaints from Victorian women. And so I had to ask her to tone down the language, which is one of the weirdest emails I've ever wrote. Hi Emma, thanks so much for sending those pictures of the socks you knitted for your cat. I'm sure Meowington will love receiving them soon. Anyway, regarding your latest comic, Curriculum Inside Me, I'm afraid we're going to have to tone down the language Sadly, that does mean losing the subheading you are so proud of, fuck my universities. Anyway, Merry Christmas. All the best, Jay. I sent her some of the hardcore gay comics once by accident, and she died. For the best. So let's talk about these gay comics. There's a whole bunch of different genres, but the ones that I worked on featured 2 male protagonists, and they are called boys' love. Sometimes shortened to BL, sometimes more generally referred to as yaoi. Yaoi, of course, being the noise that Pikachu made when faced with Nubu. Thank you. The thing about these comics that surprises some people is that, they're written by women for women. And but the idea of men getting it on is more common than you might think amongst women. And my co-worker, a lady called Hanako, who is big into these comics, she explained to me that women, especially in Japan, are often shamed for expressing themselves sexually, and so they do it indirectly through these comics. Do identify more as a dominant male or as a submissive one, or are you somewhere in between? It's really fascinating thing. And I always assumed that Hanako was on the submissive side, because every day to work she wore a pink French maid's uniform. Yes. And because in the West, right, we have the connotation of the French maid's uniform is quite sexy, right? In Japan, it's subtly different. It's more a symbol of cuteness and obedience. They have things called maid cafes over there, where women dressed as maids are paid to fawn all over the customers, who are usually adult men who still yell at their moms for buying the wrong kind of milk, right? And the stereotypical voice of these is quite diminutive. It's like, oishikunare, moi kyu, which means my parents are divorced. So I assumed Hanako was on the submissive side because of the thing. But I asked her once, in conversation, I mean, not just suddenly, they just yell it across the office. Hanako, what's your favorite gay comic book? Shut up! Is that about a gay guy pretending he's straight? No, I mean, shut up, I'm working on numbers and things. Sorry, what numbers? 8 and 6? Oh, sounds tough. So, I didn't ask her like that. I just asked her normally. And her response, I don't know. To quote her, I said, what's your favourite gay comic book? And she said, nothing, for about a minute. And I was like, oh fuck, have I offended her? She was just blank. I felt like I was standing there by myself, like I was waiting for some poor soul to come massage me. And then, after about a minute, she just snapped out of it. And she said, and I quote, "I'm so sorry. I was just trying to remember the name of the tentacle monster." Do you identify with a dominant male or a submissive one? No, an aggressive octopus. I'd love to see her dating profile. Seeking man who likes it wet. Must enjoy hugs. But she left the company to get married, and I hear that since then she's had several squids. Cheers, guys. No refunds, especially not now. But my favourite gay comic book was set in a judo school, and it's my favourite because of 2 translations, which to this day bring me great joy. The first one is, "We came to blows by the riverbank," which is pretty good. It's pretty good innuendo, right? And the other one is, "Kensuke, you know very well one of the sacred techniques of judo is adultery." I don't know if you guys watch judo tournaments. But I remember back in the day when Kosuke Yamada fought Benny Chen, and defeated him by throwing him to the mat with a fierce extramarital affair. Bernie Benny had spent more time down by the riverbank. Incidentally, my favourite gay comic, so to speak, it was my other favourite one. Sorry, was because of Yahoo Translate. Bless it. There was a phrase, "Seishi banku," which means sperm bank, right? And I thought I'd better check because I'm not sure if that's right. And I'm so glad I checked, because Yahoo Translate didn't call it sperm bank. Yahoo Translate called it the Spanking Bank of America. It's true. I think the US needs a Spanking Bank of America, personally. Deposit the future. You could have the president's faces on the cups, right? You know, maybe have Trump or Obama, depending on if your penis leans to the left or right. You could have extra wide cups for the voters that swing. Be fun to watch the votes trickle in. Stealing from Asian culture. No, I know, I'm sorry. No, I know. But this is where your mind goes when you're translating and proofreading adult comics, right? It's almost as if it's unhealthy to spend your days making sure people are having sex grammatically. And one time, right, I'd been working like 80 hours in 1 month. 80 hours overtime in 1 month. And I was going mad. I was starting to see like sexualized language in everything. Like there was the word untitled. And I was convinced it was untitled. Untitled. This is untitled. This has to be untitled. It's untitled. For like about 10 minutes. You know you need a break when you think the English language needs a word that means one who is not guided by breasts. But the thing about this seeing sexualized language in things, you guys do it too, and I'm going to prove it to you now. $69. It's just two numbers. Just two numbers. But you guys in your mind were like, wait. Right? Because you know exactly what it represents. It's very clever. One's facing this way, the other's facing that way. Very clever. In fact, this is so clever, I'm surprised nobody took the concept further. So let's take it further. 619 is when you want a 69, but things keep getting in the way. 16191, this is a 69 in jail. /69 / this is a 69 by two heavy people on a trampoline. /9, this is when you want a 69, but you're tired and can only put in 2/3 the effort. Well done, everyone. 6918, this is a 69 indoors in celebration of having just made a snowman outside. 1698 is when you think, let's just do against a snowman, eh? 1693 is the 1698 a few moments later. 692, this is a 69 next to a curious swan. 69 comma, this is a 69 with a roll of toilet roll to the side. Not the most creative one, I know, but I kept this in because when I was trying different versions of this at a gig, there's a lady where you were sitting right now. I turned to this and she went, "Aww." I said, "What do you mean, aww?" And she said, "Because there's a little baby watching." So, that's not right. So for people like her who lack common sense, we should be more specific. We shouldn't call it a 69. We should call it a 691,128, which is a 69 indoors with the baby in the other room and any swans and snowmen outside! So what have we learned? That's not the best review of the show, is it? He died. But to summarize, right? Someone said to me once, "Why did you go to so much effort to translate these things? 80 hours overtime, that kind of stuff." And he said, "Because it's just porn." And I sort of agree and disagree with that statement. I disagree because if a blowjob's worth doing, it's worth doing well. Right? It makes the world a better place. And I also disagree because there are people like Hanako out there, who love these kind of comics. We want to do a good job for her. The translation team, our motto was, even if we didn't like the comics, we put an effort in. It was, we have to come to work so you don't have to work to come. Definitely no refunds. But on the flip side, it's just porn. I agree with that. I do agree with that, because no matter how good the translation, at the end of the day, porn's not the deepest of genres. It's going to sound ridiculous, right? For example, there was a comic where a woman is ashamed of her small breasts, so she pads her bra. And then on a date, these pads fall out. And she says, "I'm busted." If you were busted, you wouldn't need the pads, would you, right? But my favourite example of this, and then you can go back to your lives, was from a comic set in Japan's Edo period. And Edo period is about 300-400 years ago in Japan. And bless the translator. They tried so hard to create something with literary merit, but they were ultimately just let down by the genre, right? So the scene is, there's a samurai. The samurai is the protagonist, quite rare for these comics, but he was a samurai. He was a guy. And he was being served sake, Japanese rice wine, in a brothel by a geisha, which is kind of a high-class prostitute. And she's leaning forward, serving him the sake, and her kimono slips open, revealing her secrets. So we have the opening narration for the entire comic, followed by the samurai, the protagonist's first words. Sharp of sword and silver of tongue, the samurai Akiyama Nagaharu used his dexterous fingers and quick wit to earn himself a reputation as not only a fearsome warrior, but also a passionate lover. Men wanted to test his sword, whereas women wanted to test his tongue, and flung themselves at his feet in the hope of receiving some silver. And then the samurai speaks. "Nice tits!" And then the geisha says, "Oh, you do have a way with words." So thank you so much, guys. That's the show. And because when I started learning Japanese, because does anyone here speak Japanese or another? Oh, down there, no way! Like fluently or just like, hello? Mochiron desu! Osaka baby! This means nothing to you guys, but we're speaking in Japanese now. Yeah, Osaka baby!
Osaka baby,
That shut the fuck up, didn't it? Oh, we'll get there. You feisty young thing. I thought we were talking about porn. No wonder you look exhausted, my friend. But she seems happy. So, we'll get there.